talk us through your own personal experience first, Adrian. Did you start when you realized you were in this sort of state of skinny fat? You realized that there wasn't enough strength training, or what's your sort of relationship with it? How did it start, and how does it look like now?
How did it start? Yeah, it was really a case that I was just very cardio dominant from just doing BA, and in my own sport, like contact sport, I know you would have played rugby as well. Obviously, physicality does come into play. And as any athlete, you want that fine combination of strength and speed. But I'd be lying if I was saying it was just for athletic purposes that I wanted to lift weights. I was also a college kid. I wanted to get more girls, and obviously having more muscle does hey, we got to be honest here as well.
Hey,
but,
you need to get laid, get paid.
yeah. So how I started out was I got a gym membership for that summer, and thankfully I was, like a lot of people, intimidated, Marcus, by going to the gym, and I just would have done what I was able to. So I would have ran the treadmill, or done the rower, done the elliptical, any of these kind of cardio based machines. And thankfully a coach, he reached out to me, he gave me a very basic 2-day week plan, and I just did that 4 times a week. I just did each session twice. And
Right.
even though it was very, very simple and very, very basic, Marcus, the boring, the basic, the fundamental work, that is what would actually get you started. So I think starting out, if you can get a coach or get someone there to instruct you in the type of exercises, and placing a bigger emphasis on compound lifts. Compound means they work more than one muscle group at once. So for example, something like a squat or a deadlift, technically a squat might be a back exercise or a leg exercise or your quad exercise, but it can also work your glutes, partly your hamstrings, strengthen your core, your low back. Deadlift, chin ups, all of these just exercises which they work more than one muscle group. Because I would have made the mistake going to the gym where you see a lot of people now and they're just doing bicep curls starting out. Man, if you just get better at doing chin-ups and actually inverted rows and just carrying your own body weight, your biceps will indirectly grow, but you're focusing too much on the wrong type of exercise. So that is where the right exercise selection, I feel, does come in. And then as you become more advanced, you can obviously add progressions, but like everything, just start out with the basics.
I like what you said there as well, Adrian. And this is why this is a great conversation, because the strength training that you spoke about is practical. People are looking for, you haven't spoken about sets and reps. You spoke about the frequency a couple of times a week or what have you, but you're not, your first port of call is not sets or reps. Your first port of call is, how is this exercise having a broad impact on my body? That's what we're saying, as opposed to, like you said, a bicep curl, a pull-up, because that's activating so many more muscle groups. So it's super practical. Have you always, for me, mate, this is all low-lying fruit, which no one eats from. Is that something that you've sort of, I don't mean to make you sound basic, mate, because I love the direction, but it's you're focusing a lot and you're getting great results with yourself and with people from a lot of the low-lying fruit. So what's that really saying?
Well, when you think about it, Marcus, when we spoke about nutrition there and what kind of foods were great-grandparents eating hundreds of years ago, and if you still follow those principles right through to this day, you wouldn't be going too far wrong. Now you look at strength training and how it's evolved.
Yeah.
Back in the day when it all started, and what were those compound lifts? And honestly, I feel most people would just get fantastic results if they repeated 15 to 20 exercises consistently over the period of their lifting. And you can then add variety there as well. It could be, you might start out with an elevated deadlift, and then you put the barbell on the floor. And then you do a deficit deadlift where you're standing on a block, and now you're adding more complexity to it. You could do a squat, but you could do a box squat. You could do a front squat. You could pause at the bottom. You're still training the fundamental movement. And if you focus on the fundamental movements, the muscles that you train then will carry through. So that's why I think if you really focus on those main compound lifts and just add a lot of variety, And then add in your accessory work there too. Of course, that's important, but it's hard to just speak to the masses. But I think these are some principles which a lot of people would get benefit from following.